But someone knows that 2 weeks are only left in the season, and that's Jerami Grant, who's been playing up all of a sudden, trying to get that resume bolstered because there's already talks about where he's going to go next year because it's probably not going to be in Detroit. And they're already talking about apparently Portland very interested in Jerami Grant using what is the New Orleans Pelicans pick that they got in the trade for CJ McCollum to try and lure him to his Olympic teammate, Damian Lillard.
Yeah, so the pick has to fall between 5 and 14. And right now, at least that's where it's projected to fall, right? The Blazers could get some, or I'm sorry, the Pelicans could get some unreal lottery luck and be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the pick, just kind of jumps into next year. Mm-hmm. But that's what we're talking about. We don't even care what player we would get back, and you'd have to get a player to match the salary. We don't even care what player we get back. If the Pistons can walk into this draft with 2 top 6 picks, right? 2 top 8 picks, it changes the whole dynamic of the future because this is a pretty deep draft up top. There are 4 guys who probably 3 you can see going number 1, but 4 who are in that super upper tier. But then the tier right below that, that's not that's nothing to shake at either. That's where you have your guy was it Mathurin?
Yeah,
is that his last name? You got guys like Keegan Murray, Johnny Davis, some of these Big Ten guys that we're familiar with, AJ Griffin from Duke. So there's a lot of options. Jalen Duren from Memphis. There's a lot of guys that the Pistons, if they're able to pull off that trade and get that pick from Portland, the second one, the Pelicans pick from Portland, it's it'd be an absolute game changer. And there's some smoke behind the fire. Like when they played the Blazers the other night, Jerami was talking, I think it was with Josh Hart and Yusuf Nurkic. And Josh Hart had that tweet from whatever it was, Legion Hoops, that, kind of mentioned that Shams report that said, hey, the Blazers are very interested in pursuing Jerami Grant. They're really trying to attack it. And when you have some kind of openness like that from the players, I think it helps, get a deal done.
Yeah. And it certainly helps that him and Dame Lillard kind of worked on their chemistry, while both being on the Olympic team. I think that did a ton for Jerami Grant in general. And but for his future, now, you've already got a guy advocating for you to come here. He knows how to play with them, got some time playing with them, enjoyed his company. So it's all the better for Jerami Grant. Look, I'm a big fan of Jerami Grant. I've enjoyed his time on the Pistons. I would be a little upset to see him leave. But if we are going to get a top 10 pick in the NBA draft for him, I'm all for it. You give us 2 top 10 picks altogether between our own and theirs, you're talking about really speeding up the rebuild of the Detroit Pistons. So I'm absolutely all for it.
I know, and this is why I wasn't so upset at the trade deadline when Jerami Grant was still on the team, because I knew the draft season's coming, right? You have the offseason to still get rid of this guy, or, even when you knew kind of maybe more so how the draft was going to play out. And I think as long as you can get maximum value for Jerami Grant, that's all you can ask. And I trust Troy Weaver enough, at least, to think that if he wasn't getting that value at the trade deadline, I was fine keeping him because I knew at some point you're going to be able to max out Jerami. And if he continues this play down the stretch, I mean, hey, sky's the limit. Those offers are only going to keep going up. If Portland is really interested, who's to say somebody else doesn't come in just a little bit more desperate?